Hey kids, it's Dad. Today I want to talk about how you don't have to do what everyone else expects you to do. So let's sit down for a minute and let's talk about it. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a father of a daughter and a foster son. And I'm just a normal dad that screws up literally every day. And this is my video log to my children for them and their future. And I want you to know that if you're here watching this and you have a broken relationship with your father, that I welcome you here, and I hope you find comfort in the channel and the things I talk about. So it's another day, another story, so let's see where this one takes us. So you don't have to do what everyone else expects you to do, whether it's a parent, a family member, a friend, whomever it may be, you don't have to do what they expect you to do. Now, I'm not talking about the little things like doing the dishes, or doing your homework or getting things done day to day. I'm talking about your big decisions, your big life decisions, the ones that you're looking to make 5, 10, 20 years out in your life that you're really looking forward to do. So right here, right now, I want to unlock this for you, that you need to know that it is your decision and ultimately no one else's expectations has really any power over you. And that's freeing. That feels good. That's a freeing feeling that I remember feeling in my teenage years when I was thinking about what I was going to do in my life. But know this, that the decision that you do make, depending on what it is, there will be consequences. There will be things that happen. It's kind of like it's kind of like the saying, no good deed goes unpunished. So you can make a good decision, but it doesn't mean things won't happen in response to that decision. What I mean more specifically is, here's maybe a good example. So maybe it's a parent that has expectations of you to go into a certain career field or whatever it may be. They're going to have a response if you disagree with that. If you don't take that path and you decide to go a different direction, they're going to have a response to that. They might be a bit upset. There's a point in all of our lives as we get older that we begin to find our independence. It happens very early in life and it follows us throughout our whole life, where we become accountable for the things that we do and we start to make our own decisions. But as a parent, it's difficult looking down at your child. You want what's best for them. And it's a challenge because you don't know where they're going to end up and you hope that they make the right decisions. And all you're trying to do is protect them at the end of the day. But know this. If you become accountable for your own decisions, if you take responsibility for those decisions and you come up with a plan, that can really help alleviate a lot of this. I'm not saying every situation will be solved. Not every parent or guardian or family member or friend that has expectations over you is really going to solve that situation. But if you respond with, and do your research, but if you respond with, I hear you, I hear what you're saying, and I see that path. It just doesn't align with what I want to do with my life. But in something that I can share, that I went into the creative field, and the question is always, how are you going to pay the bills? That seems to be a common one. But if you have a plan in place to say, I'm going to do this path, it's the creative field, or it's something that I've always strived to do. Maybe it's being an actor or something like that. But here's my plan to pay the bills. And here's my alternative thing I'm going to do. Maybe it's some kind of side hustle. Maybe it's some kind of work. But if you can prove that out and show worth there to say, here's how I'm going to pay my bills. Here's how I'm going to get things done until this thing could someday pay my bills. Or maybe it never will. That's totally possible. And that's totally reasonable. But I'm going to do this thing to take care of myself, to take care of my family someday if I choose to have one. But then this is what I'm going to do because this is what I love. Be aware that if you challenge the expectations that others have of you, be ready in response and have something to deliver in response to that, and show that you've put thought into it and that you have a plan. But also know this, that the expectations that people have of you comes from a good place, oftentimes. It comes from their experience and their wisdom that they have in life. It's quite likely that they see a path in front of you that could be good for you in the end anyway. So the path that they have for you is actually the path of least resistance and probably the easier path. Sometimes it's easier to take that path that is more traveled, and having that wisdom around you, having that person that can kind of share with you the gaps that you don't see, give you the knowledge that you maybe didn't have otherwise. And as you take that path, you can go ask them questions. There's a lot of power to that. I actually had a friend recently talk about his son and his experiences that he's having with him. And he shared with his son that if you let me plan out your path and your journey in your early 20s, I can give you a lot of great wisdom and really put you in a good spot. I can teach you a lot of things to be an investor, to make decisions and maybe buy into real estate or something like that, and have these avenues that you can make money and be well off and then choose to do your own path. And he said, if you follow my path that I have for you, these things can fall into place. Doesn't mean you can't pursue your journey or pursue the things that you want to pursue, but just know that maybe my suggestions, my wisdom can be helpful to you. But it's up to you to decide whether you want to fall into that and follow that path, or if you want to take your own journey. But the counter to that is you taking your own path and taking your own journey, and I'm speaking from experience here, to go do what others aren't expecting of you. That brings you a lot of meaning, a lot of control and power over your own life, and just brings a lot of hope and joy in the end. In my experience, I decided to take the creative path, and I had people tell me, don't go to college, do more of a blue-collar job, and a lot of situations that is great, and we're seeing today there's a lot of fruit in that, and it maybe is a good decision because I ended up with a lot of college loans, and I have to pay those back today. But what happened is I took a journey. I had a pin in that journey of what I hoped to be at 5 or 10 years out, what I thought in my mind was the right path. Well, I took that journey, and at each fork in the road, I split, and I had to make a decision of which way I was going to go. And then again and again and again, that happens over and over again until that journey ends up taking you somewhere completely different. I ended up way over here instead of where I thought I was going. But once I got there, my hindsight was so clear and so relevant that I was so happy to have taken the path that I did, that having that goal in the mind just got me started and started taking those small steps to figure out where I wanted to go. But it actually, what happens is instead of ending here, I ended up way past up here. And now I'm in a career that pays the bills more than enough. And I'm so blessed to have what I have. And I get to do what I love and really enjoy every day. And also know that those big decisions don't need to be made at every moment. They're going to come ever so often in intervals that don't happen all the time. So you don't have to have things figured out right away. Taking the journey is more so a part of the experience and more so a part of what makes you grow and mature and gain wisdom. So find the joy in the journey and not so much the end goal. The end goal is nice when it works out, but sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes you end up somewhere completely different. And that can be a really great and freeing thing. So just know that people are going to have expectations of you and what they think you should do in your future. You don't have to agree with them. One, if you do agree with them, it might be an easier path and it might be a path of least resistance. And you can lean on the wisdom around you to get where you want to go. But also recognize that if you choose your own path, it's gonna be harder. There will be consequences to that choice, but you have to do your due diligence. You have to be accountable for what you do, but that's a freeing thing, and you're going to be so much better off in the end. So if you made it to the end here, you might be interested in this other video. Check it out, or jump to my channel and subscribe and follow for more.